And we are back. Today, the Arnold Classic lineup for 2025 has dropped, and we're going to be going over that. Here we go. So, we have 7 girls that placed in the Olympia last year in this lineup. We have Laura Lee, Ariana, Ashlin, Jazzy, Jordan, Vania, Maria, Amy, and Angelica. Former Miss Olympia Maureen's back. Tamekia, who placed in 23, is invited, and the Arnold amateur winner, Anastasia. I think she goes by Stacey. She's in this lineup as well. I really think this is going to be a great show, especially with this type of lineup, especially with this type of competition. I mean, I was thinking a lot of people weren't going to do it or even apply, but I was shocked to see some of them decide to apply, especially with how close the Olympia was. But I think this is going to be a great show. I think this is going to be really tight, especially with the top 5 in this lineup. But one thing that I'm really happy to see is the current Miss Olympia champion continue to compete versus what we've seen in the past 6 years, since I think the last time we ever had a Miss Olympia who was the current champion continuously compete throughout the year was Angelica in 2018. But ever since then, when Issa won, when Jen and Maureen won, they would just sit out the whole year. And I feel like that may have hurt them because you take the whole year off just to peak for one show versus trying things out, making sure that you're on point when you get to the ultimate grand stage, which is the Mr. Olympia. This is the second biggest show of the year. So I'm going to get into wellness before that, but a lot of people don't understand this. The Arnold Classic is it's a special invitational. You have to apply and get accepted to this show. There are hundreds of athletes who apply and all over the world and pros, but the Arnold Sports Festival Committee, they look through applications. They see, okay, what can this person bring? Because it's a business. What can this person do to bring traction, to bring in viewers and spectators to the show, and to obviously bring money into the expo? So like the Arnold Classic show is about $2 million to put on, and then there's an expo which is $4 million. The expo is just a way to like generate revenue, but that's totally separate from what the Arnold Classic is. So I mean, Arnold is no different than any other promoter. He's a private promoter, just like Robin, just like Tim, just like Joe. When they have divisions and they want to have a show, they pay sanction fees to the IFBB, which is the governing body, just to have the show being ran. Obviously, the main attraction for the Arnold is the Men's Open, which now $500,000 is going to the Men's Open. So when Arnold said last year, I want this to be the best bodybuilding show on the planet, I'm putting the prize money $500,000, he meant I want this to be the best open men's show. I have the best open men's show. When people are like, it's not the best show because you don't have every single division, it's not about every single division. If you have the best show, it's because you put on the best show production, the best prize money, best rewards for that. But obviously the ultimate show is the Mr. Olympia. So when Arnold said $500,000, the Olympia was kind of like, we can't do 400,000. So they went to 650. So it's great that it's elevating the sport. And, Classic, the same thing, they get paid more than the Olympia. Plus they have a best pose award. So when Terrence Ruffin won, he got like $70,000. So the 6 divisions that they have are the divisions they feel comfortable putting on. Any promoter can decide what divisions they want to have or drop in. They only want divisions that get an ROI out of it. And obviously the most popular divisions are bikini, wellness, and, well, I guess fitness as well. But like I said, there are hundreds of people who apply and only 10 of these girls get accepted, which, if you think about it, it's harder to get into the Arnold versus the Olympia. But we're gonna look at some of these girls. So obviously our champion, Miss Laura Lee. I know people saying it's a risk to do, but in my opinion, she doesn't feel any pressure. She doesn't have to feel nervous anymore and have these expectations to win, because she can go into this calm and level-headed, and as long as she feels that way, like she did at this Olympia, she could probably take this whole win. The only thing with Laura Lee is obviously how she comes in, either too conditioned or she's too, much in the glutes. if she comes in way better than she did at the Olympia, I don't think anybody can beat her. Um, People say her Arnold looks were some of the best. I mean, her Chicago Pro look from 2021, I felt like that would win everything. In 2021, she was 1 point off from Jen at the Olympia. Right. So then next we go into Jazzy, who got third. Now, I'll be honest with you. Before the Olympia, when we were doing predictions, people thought, why didn't I have her top 10? I said, well, that's going to depend on how the lineup looks. I said maybe 11, 12, but she impressed me. She was probably the star of the whole show after Laura Lee. I always felt Jazzy was going to be in the top 10. I mean, in the top 5, because she got ninth at her first Olympia when she qualified on points. And then the next year she was in the last call out. And then she comes back and then makes the biggest jump to all the way to third. That's probably the biggest jump since when Angelica in her first Olympia 2015, when she was dead last callouts. And then the next year she won a lot of shows. And then she went all the way to second place. Her and India Paulino were a 1 point difference for second and third. She got second, and Courtney King won that Olympia. And that was the Olympia Ashley K lost, where she was going to go for 4. They had about 42 girls in that lineup. But if Jazzy keeps up the trajectory and momentum that she has, getting third and being automatically qualified, if she's going against now Maureen and Jen and Ashley, well, obviously Jen and Ashley aren't here, but if she can overtake them and overtake Laura Lee, that's only gonna keep elevating her up. I definitely think that she can just keep getting better and improving. Obviously, from this Olympia, she keeps putting in the work. All right. Fourth is Amy. Let me see, from the Olympia. Let me see. Here we go. No, I felt like she could probably win the Olympia. And you know what? I'd say in due time, her time will come. If she is spot on, everything comes in full and is on point like she did in her New York Pro, I think she can definitely win the Olympia. She was a little soft in the back. I feel like that kind of maybe hurt her, but getting fourth in placing in your third Olympia, that's something. I mean, even if this is a good Amy, but a great Amy can overtake everybody because she has it all to win. She obviously is fixing her front post. She's fixing everything that she has and containing her physique. And if she just repeated New York Pro, which I felt like that could win any show any day. Let me see, New York. Is that this year? Well, here we go. Like, this was the best Amy. When she comes in, like spot on conditioning, spot on full. This is Miss Olympia. This is Arnold Classic champion. She was a 1 point difference with Laura Lee last year. All right. Next, we have Vania. I think that she is the most improved pro for this year. I mean, I saw her at the beginning of the year, and I was like, I think she may be the one that may surprise a lot of people. And she gets third at the Arnold, and then she wins the Arnold UK, gets third in Pittsburgh, and then being second call out, and then working her way up, and then getting fifth. I mean, going from 12th to fifth, that's phenomenal. And then she obviously got already qualified in the Brazil show. So this is something where she's going in with nothing to lose, and maybe she can overtake some of these girls. If she does bring in the glute density that she needs, she definitely will overtake some of the girls. But she is the best poser in all of bikini right now. And if anyone needs a posing coach, she is the girl to teach you that. I mean, her journey from her first two Olympias, from not placing to getting 12th to getting to fifth this year, this is probably one of the best Vania years ever. And I definitely think she can keep improving. I do prefer the blue suit better. That's just me. I mean, she did red, a lot of reds this year, but she brings it. I definitely can see her in that spot. And hey, I mean, I'd like to see her compete more and be an Olympia blocker, but that's all on her if she wants to do that. All right, next up, Maria. She was seventh. Actually, no, Ashlin, she was sixth. I always wondered if Ashlin would ever do an Arnold, and her applying this year, and I was actually like, wow, I was like, wow, I did not think she would do it. I was thinking that she was going to go and try to qualify sometime in the summertime, but to say that, maybe to have on a bucket list to say that I did an Arnold Classic and she did well, I just think a little more glued and she would have been in that fifth place spot. I honestly thought she could maybe get fourth or third at the Olympia, but it was all on the lineup. And she worked her way up after not being the first call out to get to six, but that was her best placing. I do think that she continued to get it better. And we need a blonde in the top five. We definitely don't have a blonde in the top five. I mean, and again, in bikini, it's all genetics where it's like darker hair is more dominant and then blonde hair is more recessive. But I'd like to see a blonde in the top five, but she definitely could be that girl. I mean, Ashlyn does things that you don't think that she can do, and she winds up being much better than people expect. Like people doubt her, and she's not gonna like, oh, she may not win this or may she not do well, and she does way better than a lot of people think, and she proves people wrong. And she's not out here to say, "I proved you wrong, I proved a point." She just does her work, and the judges reward her for that, and it is what it is. But hey, I mean, it's going to be really tight with some of these girls right now. Right, Maria, when she walked out on stage for her individual, I thought, hey, she might be in the first call out. I had her at the Olympia going at least 10 to 15. Like I said, that she has a good chance to place at her first Olympia. She would be the first one up, so she'd be the first one on stage. So she just had to present her physique in the best way possible and just get to the point. She didn't walk all the way back. She just kind of stood in place. She took a couple of steps, but her balance is probably one of the best in bikini. Plus her posing, and she's really coming to grow in her physique. And I definitely can see her winning some shows this year. Now, how she may place, I do see her. If they have 12 girls, so they'll most likely do six. So I do think that she could probably place between fourth through, I'd say fourth through seventh. It's just going to be all lineup dependent, especially every Arnold. But I'd like to see her go against some of the big girls and take. I mean, to say that in 2019 that your idols were Paulino and Angelica and Issa, the girls that you looked up to, and then you surpassed them at your Olympia. That's phenomenal. When she was in that, she was the first name called up in the first call. I was like, whoa! Like I was really happy for her, and I definitely can see her doing very better in qualifying again. And this is going to be a great show and great test for her, especially on this big of a stage. And this will be her first Arnold, so I'm excited for her. Next up, who is he's Jordan. We have Angelica. So she recently competed at Atlantic Coast. She got second. It was a 1 point difference with Taylor. I just think that she needs to come in fuller in the front and more tighter in the back, and just maybe more shoulders that she needs. But from her Olympia look, it was pretty good. I mean, it was almost kind of similar to Atlantic Coast, but I like to see what she brings. She always brings great stage presence. I prefer the purple suit on her more than the green. But green was her first color. And I remember 2015, that was what she wore for her first Olympia. but a couple fixes there. I definitely think that she is about. And I love Angelica. I mean, to see her journey where she's become, and being dominant for 2 years from 2017 to 2018, and she's always positive. The fans love her. Everyone says from her era from 2016 to 2018, those are the best years of bikini, and I do agree to that. But then then things evolve, and even today, many girls still want to look like her, they want that look back. I mean, bikini just keeps evolving, but I honestly think 2017, 2018, that was a peak bikini, and it's getting better. We're trying to find, like, as times change, things change, and obviously when what's the word I'm trying to say? When a certain physique goes into a certain direction, that's where people start heading to. If people want to be more muscular in bikini versus very like skin, very lean, they want more muscle. They kind of want to feel comfortable in it. Now there's a threshold where someone in bikini could look like a figure girl, or they're too bottom heavy. Maybe they should just go into wellness because maybe they just don't fit that criteria. But it's just going to be all based on genetics and how you are built. But anyways, that's my little spiel. Jordan, I was hoping she got accepted into the Arnold Classic, and I'm so happy for her. A lot of her athletes, fans, they're happy to see Jordan in the Arnold. She's already qualified, so she's got nothing to lose here. She doing this show is a test, and obviously doing your first Arnold is going to be great, especially against these top girls. So I'm excited to see what she brings. I definitely think she comes in tighter. She comes in more fuller in the back, and I definitely think that that's going to help her. Everything that she has this attainable look to her, which I feel a lot of girls can go and gravitate towards. It's an attainable look. You're not looking at her and you're like, whoa, what's happening? You look at her and you go, hey, that looks realistic. I can look like that. I want to be like that. And I definitely think Jordan has that kind of look where many women wouldn't look like, that your eyes kind of go to her because it's just the physique type that you want to look like. You want to say, hey, it looks good. Hey, I'm excited to see what she can do. I'm excited winning her first big show at Legion. That's a great step in the direction. I remember seeing when she turned pro at Junior USA's, and then I lost count after like 8 shows she did in her first year to qualify for her first Olympia, and then qualifying again in August. I think I forgot what it was. I think it was Tahoe, and then she did Hurricane, got qualified early. So she has a pattern of getting qualified early, and if she comes into shows with no pressure, no stress, I definitely think that it's going to make her a better athlete, and she's going to perform very well. All right, Ariana. This wasn't her best year. Because she was a little downsized, but I still think that she has the most potential to be a Miss Olympia. She has the blueprint in the genetics to be a Miss Bikini Olympia champion. I do think that with more time, and when she's in that stride coming up in this year, she's going to definitely be someone to challenge her. My biggest thing when I just saw her and Laura Lee next to each other, my thing is, what if we have a show where everybody back in line, Ariana and Laura Lee stay there? That would be something we want to see, and that's something because they're both tall, and that's something. And a lot of things that we see in Ariana, she kind of has in Laura Lee, but the difference with Ariana is she's more longer in her limbs than Laura Lee. Laura Lee's legs are shorter. She has short femurs, so it takes more time for Ariana to grow into her physique. And obviously, within a couple of years, she's going to be undeniable. And I do think it's just going to be more time. And I'm happy to see that she's doing this show to see where she stands and what she's got to go into fixing and try to get into an early qualification sometime in the spring. I did listen to her and James' podcast, so I'm happy that she got the Arnold invite. This will be her first one as well. And a lot of them is going to be their first one. She has this like captivating look to her, which is, I think she looks like a Disney. If I'm not the first or the last person to say this, I think she looks like a Disney princess in real life. I mean, that's one thing I like. And it's kind of the look, like I said, I think, like I said about Jordan Brandon, she has an attainable look. She has a look that a lot of women, they want to look like. Right? So then, who did I miss? Tamekia? She Tamekia had a lot of shows last year. She did a lot of shows this season, actually. She got qualified in Nashville, and that was against like 30, 32 girls. And getting qualified to that, I mean, to show that she was not going to quit, come like placing very well, getting second, and then finally winning. It just shows her resiliency. Getting second to Isa in Texas means that she's up for the challenge. Her first Olympia, she got 15th. I mean, she probably has one of the craziest proportions in bikini. Like how she's so snatched and how she has zero waist, and all these, like, a lot of people would die to have her genetics and have her physique. And I do think that she has what it takes to keep moving up and move in those top spots, but we'll just have to see what she brings to Columbus. Right, hold on, because I couldn't tag her. We have Maureen. So we haven't seen her on stage since the Olympia of last year. She got hurt. She got injured this year, like 2 weeks before the Olympia, so she couldn't walk because I think she hurt her foot. But I do think that she can definitely be one of the front runners to win it. I don't want to say that she's going to win easily or win handedly, but she's definitely going to be in the top 2, top 3 spots. And whatever she brings, if she brings this kind of a look that she did at her last Olympia, like if you, like, a lot of people keep saying if she was in the Olympia this year, she would have won. I say yes and no, because if she brought the same look in a much better Laura Lee, I would say that she would be second, or I'd say second again. But with what Ashley brought, it would have been like maybe second, third. Maybe if I'm just saying, we're just hypothetically, theoretically saying this, I think she would have been that second, third spot. But there would be ways where she could both win because her tan was darker. She was holding a bit of water. And I'm just hoping to God that she changed out these heels. I did see her posing in these heels, and I'm just like, you got to get out of it. But if she fixes her mistakes, I definitely think, and what she has is fixable. If she just does that, there's no question that she could be the girl to win it. All right. Last but not least, for bikini, we have Stacey. So she won the overall at the Arnold Amateur last year. I just think for her, it's just presentation and, obviously fixing her suit and getting makeup. I would get a different suit company and I would get totally different and I would get someone to do your makeup instead of you do it yourself. Like, she has a good physique, but I just feel like it's just presentation for her. Careful with the arm movements. So she did Clash, she got 4th, and then Charlotte, she got like 6th. I think she did a couple other shows, but Placed lower. Like she has good proportion, but it's just like I said, presentation, and also I think how when she turns, she got to be careful of her mid of her lower ab distension. All right, that's it for bikini, and I'll see you guys next time. I do think this is going to be a great Arnold Classic, and I'm looking forward to it. But until then, I'll have my next episode of Q&RA up. I know it's been delayed. I know it's been very controversial, but I'm going to have that posted within the next couple of days. And see you guys next time.